The highway stretches out endlessly, the dark asphalt cracked and uneven under the harsh daylight. A lone dog lies by the side, trembling. Its fur, once shiny, is now matted, dirty, and torn from the cruel winds. The dog's body shows the scars of neglect. Its eyes, filled with fear and pain, scan the road, but no car stops. Abandoned, forgotten, and ignored, this dog has no place in the world. It had once been loved, but now it's a stray, left to fend for itself in a world full of indifference. The distant sound of tires echoes in the air, but they zoom past, leaving the dog behind. With every heartbeat, the dog struggles, but the hope that once burned brightly inside it is slowly being extinguished. Its legs quiver, yet it refuses to lie down. It won't give up. Not yet. Despite the searing pain, the dog's heart refuses to stop fighting for the love it once knew. Someone will come for me, the dog's mind whispers. Someone must. The dog's name is Max. Once, he had been part of a loving family, a family that had promised him forever. He had been the perfect companion, eager to serve, his heart filled with boundless loyalty. He was a service dog, well trained and cherished by his family. But that was before the car accident. Before everything changed. Now Max is alone, his collar worn but still intact around his neck, a silent reminder of a past life that feels like a distant memory. With every passing day, he loses more of his spirit. He once ran through fields with joy. Now he drags his broken body along deserted roads, hoping for a second chance. His paws are battered, his body covered with scars from the unforgiving world. But within his chest still beats a heart full of hope, a hope that someone, somewhere will remember him. Max dreams of his family every night. He dreams of his owner's voice calling his name. But each morning, when he opens his eyes, he's still here, still alone. His world is now defined by pain, loneliness, and the desperate hope that someone will care enough to save him. Max walks with purpose, his steps slow but steady. The world around him seems indifferent to his struggle. The cars passing by, people in their own worlds, unaware of the silent agony he endures. The wind brushes through his fur, but it offers no comfort. Max's body, though weathered, moves with a quiet grace as he searches for something he can't quite name. He is a creature of habit now, no longer a pet with a purpose but a survivor, clinging to the memory of what once was. Every street he walks, every path he follows, is a reminder of what he's lost. The dogs he passes in cages in front yards look at him with pity, but he doesn't stop. He knows that his fate is different, that he must keep moving, keep searching, or risk being forgotten. The sound of his own breathing is louder than anything else. Despite the overwhelming sadness, Max carries on. He walks for himself and for the hope of something more. Something that will bring him back to the love he once knew. Max finds himself in front of a small run-down house. It's not the first time he's been here, but today feels different. There's something in the air, something that stirs a memory deep within him. He hesitates. The porch, the familiar smell of human presence, brings a surge of longing. Could it be? Could this place be the one he's been searching for? He approaches cautiously, his body tense with both hope and fear. He sniffs the air, ears flicking at every sound. This place has a history with him, but the details are fuzzy. The scent of a human lingered here. Perhaps it was the last family he had known before being cast out. Max lingers near the porch, reluctant to move forward, but something tells him to stay. To keep hoping. To keep searching. Max's heart races as he watches a figure emerge from the house. His senses are on high alert, every muscle in his body tense. Could it be? He strains to catch a familiar scent in the wind, but the figure is too far away. The person steps closer, but Max can't tell if this is the reunion he's been longing for. His tail twitches with uncertainty, unsure of whether to approach or retreat. Max has been hurt before. He's learned that hope can be a double-edged sword. He's afraid to be disappointed once more, but still, he can't shake the feeling that this moment is different. This time, something might change. This time he might finally find what he's been looking for. As the figure comes closer, Max's legs tense, ready to either run or meet the moment head on. Whatever happens, he knows one thing: he can't give up. Not now. The shelter is a place filled with noise, chaos, and the scent of desperation. Max lies in the corner, exhausted but alert, watching the world around him. Other dogs bark and whine, some in cages, others pacing restlessly. The walls are cold, and the air is thick with the tension of abandoned creatures waiting to be rescued. But for Max, the possibility of being adopted feels as distant as the horizon. His mind drifts back to the highway, the memories of the open road, the loneliness, and the hope that someone might come for him. But in this new place, surrounded by others like him, he feels lost. Sarah, the compassionate shelter worker, passes by, her eyes filled with sympathy as she sees Max lying motionless. She approaches him slowly, trying not to startle him. Max raises his head, eyes locking with hers. For the first time in days, he feels a flicker of recognition, a sense of being seen. But he doesn't move. He's too tired, too broken. Sarah's heart aches for him, and she knows this is a special case. She kneels, offering a gentle word, hoping for a response, but Max simply watches her, cautious, unsure of whether to trust her or to wait for something else. His past is filled with betrayals, and trust doesn't come easily. Sarah watches Max, her heart breaking at the sight of his sad eyes. She knows that the shelter isn't the ideal place for a dog like him, and it hurts her to see him so withdrawn. As she stands up, she glances at the other dogs, some of whom wag their tails when they see her. But Max doesn't react. She's seen animals who have been through trauma, and they all respond differently. Max, though, seems different, like a shadow of the dog he once was. Sarah sighs, stepping away for a moment, but she can't shake the feeling that she's meant to help him. She walks to the back of the shelter, where she keeps a journal, jotting down notes on the animals under her care. She writes about Max, his fear, his past, and the sadness that radiates from him. She knows that he needs more than food and water. He needs love. He needs to trust again, but that won't be easy. Still, Sarah is determined. She won't give up on him. She's seen many animals come through the shelter, some harder to rescue than others, but Max's spirit calls to her. She whispers to herself, "I can help you, Max. I just need to find a way." Max spends the days lying in his corner, watching the shelter staff move in and out. Sarah stops by often, offering him food, water, and kind words, but he remains distant. He's learned to guard his heart, protecting it from more hurt. Other animals in the shelter seem to adjust more easily, tails wagging, eager for attention, but not Max. He remains a silent observer, his gaze distant, his mind elsewhere. One day Sarah notices that he's not eating. She kneels beside him, gently coaxing him to eat, but Max turns away. He's not hungry. He's not interested in food. The only thing he's hungry for is love. But love feels like a far-off dream. Sarah sighs, her heart heavy with the weight of his resistance. She knows that building trust will take time, and perhaps it's something Max isn't ready for just yet. But she refuses to let him fade into the background of this crowded shelter. She knows his story. She knows the pain he carries. And she won't give up on him no matter how long it takes. Days pass, and Sarah continues to care for Max, but the walls around him remain strong. Max's resistance isn't just to Sarah, it's to the world. He's afraid to trust again, afraid that every kindness is temporary. But Sarah's patience begins to crack the surface. She's been giving him space, letting him come to her on his own terms. One afternoon, after cleaning up the shelter, she sits down near his cage. She doesn't try to coax him or force him into a response. She simply sits there, reading a book aloud in a soft, soothing voice. She knows Max can hear her. And something shifts. Max, still hesitant, begins to inch closer. It's a small movement, but it's progress. Sarah's heart skips a beat. It's the first sign of hope she's seen in days. She doesn't speak, allowing the silence to stretch between them, only the sound of her voice filling the air. Max slowly but surely begins to trust her presence. Max has finally begun to show signs of trust. It's a small victory, but it's a victory nonetheless. Every time Sarah visits, Max approaches her a little more. He no longer turns away when she offers food or water. The walls around his heart are slowly crumbling. And though he's still guarded, a small spark of hope flickers inside him. Sarah knows it's not enough yet to say that Max is healed, but it's a step in the right direction. One day, Max even lets her pet him. It's brief, hesitant, but it's a sign that he's starting to feel safe again. It's a breakthrough. Max still carries the scars of his past, but with each passing day, Sarah helps him heal, one small gesture at a time. She knows the road ahead will be long, but she's committed to helping Max find his way back to the love and trust he's lost. She won't give up. Not now. Not ever. Sarah arrives at the shelter early. The sky's still dark, but the promise of morning hanging in the air. The weight of the previous days weighs on her. Max has started to trust, but there's something she hasn't shared with him yet, his past, his history. Sarah's discovery feels like a sharp pang in her heart. The dog that had been abandoned by the side of the road had once belonged to a family who, after an accident, could no longer care for him. They had loved him once, but when things changed, so did their love. They had let him go. Sarah holds this piece of information close, knowing that Max deserves to know the truth about himself. The moment she discovered this truth about his past, something in her shifted. She felt an overwhelming need to tell Max, to reassure him that he was more than a stray, more than an abandoned animal. He had a life once, a good life. And somehow, that gave Sarah hope. But she also fears that telling him will hurt him more, rip open the wounds of abandonment. Still, she knows it's the right thing to do. She watches Max as he sleeps, a quiet, peaceful moment that is so rare for him. She knows she has to find the courage to speak. Later that day, Sarah sits beside Max's cage, her fingers lightly brushing the bars. She speaks to him softly, her voice trembling slightly. "Max, I have something I need to tell you. Something about your past." Max looks at her, his eyes curious but still distant. He's come a long way, but the scar of abandonment still lingers, and Sarah knows he's unsure whether to listen or turn away. Sarah continues, her words careful, as if each one could break him. "You weren't always alone. You had a family. They loved you. But after an accident, they couldn't take care of you anymore, and they left you behind." Max's ears twitch, and for a moment, Sarah wonders if he truly understands what she's saying. She pauses, giving him a moment to process. "You were not forgotten, Max. You were just lost." Sarah's heart aches as she watches him, unsure whether he's internalizing the words or if they're just floating past him. She's hoping this revelation will heal him, but a part of her fears it could push him further away. She takes a deep breath, hoping for a breakthrough, for the trust to finally bloom. Max retreats slightly, stepping back from the bars of his cage. His posture is tense, his body rigid, as if the words Sarah spoke have caused him to withdraw into himself. Sarah watches him, a pang of guilt tightening in her chest. Had she done the wrong thing? She had meant to bring him comfort, but the weight of the truth may have overwhelmed him. For hours, Max remains distant, pacing in his cage. He doesn't look at Sarah. He doesn't approach the food she offers. Instead, he withdraws into himself, hiding behind the small space of his enclosure. Sarah knows she's just begun the hard part, healing not just Max's physical wounds, but his emotional scars as well. She's patient though. She knows that breaking the silence will take time. She continues to visit him, speaking gently, offering food, and hoping that Max will eventually come to understand that she's not going anywhere. Despite the pain of his past, Sarah believes in him. She believes that he can heal, but she also knows that it won't happen overnight. Days pass, and Sarah remains unwavering. She refuses to let Max slip away into his own world of solitude. Every morning she's there. Every evening she visits, sitting beside his cage, reading aloud, offering soft words of encouragement. Slowly, Max begins to show small signs of progress. His gaze softens, and sometimes he lingers near the bars of his cage, just watching Sarah. She doesn't push him to respond, but she sees the small changes, the brief moments when he no longer turns away. One afternoon, Sarah enters the shelter to find Max sitting at the front of his cage, waiting. She stops in her tracks, unsure of what to do. Slowly, she approaches, not wanting to scare him. She kneels down to his level, her voice soft. "Max, it's okay. You're safe." Max looks at her, his eyes wary, but there's something different this time. He doesn't back away. Instead, he inches closer, just a little. It's a small step, but to Sarah, it feels like the world has shifted. He's beginning to trust her again. That evening, Sarah offers Max a treat, something special that she's been saving just for him. She places it in his bowl and watches as he slowly approaches. For a moment, he hesitates, then he sniffs the treat, carefully considering it. It's a simple gesture, but it means the world to Sarah. She watches as he finally takes a bite, his movements cautious but deliberate. It's the first time in weeks that he's accepted something from her without hesitation. As he chews, Sarah feels a swell of emotion rise in her chest. This moment, so small, feels like a breakthrough. She knows Max's journey is far from over, but this tiny step forward means everything. He's finally beginning to trust again. She smiles softly, feeling the weight of the moment settle in her heart. Max still has a long way to go, but Sarah knows that with every little gesture, he's moving closer to healing. And so is she. Sarah's heart races as she watches the shelter's door open. Mr. Harris, the cold-hearted director, steps inside with a group of animal control officers. They've come to check on the animals, but Sarah knows they're also here for a reason. She feels the weight of his gaze, knowing he's aware of her efforts with Max. He approaches her, a smug look on his face. "You're wasting your time, Sarah," he says coldly. "These animals are just here to be rehomed or put down. Max is no different." Sarah holds her ground, refusing to show fear. She can't let him win, not after all she's done. "Max deserves a chance," she responds firmly. "He's more than just an animal to be discarded." Mr. Harris smirks, not interested in listening. Sarah steps between him and Max's cage, a silent barrier of protection. She won't back down. This is her fight now. Mr. Harris steps closer, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "You really think you can save this dog, don't you?" he sneers. "This is a shelter, not a pet spa. He's better off being moved somewhere else, somewhere quieter." Sarah's eyes harden, but she doesn't flinch. "No, he's better off staying here, where he can heal." The officers exchange uneasy glances, but Mr. Harris seems unfazed. "You're not in charge here, Sarah?" he growls. "If you want to keep playing hero, fine, but don't expect any help." Sarah's resolve strengthens, her voice unwavering. "I'm not looking for help from you, just a chance for Max." She feels a surge of emotion, but she keeps it in check. Max needs her to be strong, to fight for him. And she will. The confrontation is far from over. As the officers begin to gather around, Sarah knows it's only a matter of time before they try to take Max. She steps closer to the cage, her voice quiet but firm. "You can't take him, he's not just another animal. He's been through too much already. I won't let you send him away." Mr. Harris laughs mockingly. "You think you can save him? You're just one person, and this is a shelter. There are rules." Sarah stands her ground. "Max deserves more than your rules. He deserves a second chance." The officers seem unsure, and Sarah seizes the moment. "Give him a chance to heal," she implores. For a brief moment, Mr. Harris hesitates, but his pride quickly overrides any empathy. "You're wasting your time," he mutters. But Sarah knows she's making an impact. She's not giving up now. The officers look to Mr. Harris, waiting for his next move. Sarah's heart pounds in her chest, but she stands tall, holding her ground. After a long, tense silence, Mr. Harris finally steps back, a reluctant sneer on his face. "Fine," he mutters. "But don't expect any special treatment." He turns to leave, the officers following reluctantly. Sarah watches them go, her body still tense, but a small victory in her heart. Max is safe. For now. She turns back to the cage, meeting Max's eyes. He's watching her, unsure of what just happened, but Sarah can see a flicker of trust in his gaze. It's a sign. She's won this battle, but the war is far from over. Sarah smiles softly, reaching through the bars to gently pet Max's head. "You're safe here, Max. I won't let them take you." Later that evening, after the officers leave, Sarah sits alone with Max. She breathes deeply, letting the weight of the day wash over her. Max is curled up on his blanket, his eyes closing as if he finally feels safe. Sarah looks at him, a sense of quiet pride swelling in her chest. She knows the journey isn't over, but this moment, this small victory, feels like a turning point. She has stood up for him, fought for him, and he's finally beginning to understand that she won't abandon him. As the lights of the shelter dim, Sarah stays by his side. She whispers to him, "You're not alone anymore, Max. We'll get through this together." And for the first time in a long time, Sarah believes it. Max stirs slightly, as if acknowledging her words, and for the first time his body relaxes. There's hope now. And that's all they need. The next morning, Sarah wakes up early to find Max sitting by the window, staring out. He's no longer the broken dog he once was. His coat is shinier, his eyes brighter. He's a different dog, one who's found a glimmer of hope. Sarah watches him quietly, her heart swelling with emotion. She knows their journey isn't over, but Max is on the road to healing. Over the weeks, they've built a routine. Max is more comfortable now, walking with Sarah, eating better, and even interacting with the other animals in the shelter. She smiles, seeing the small but powerful changes. This wasn't just about saving Max. It was about finding a way to help him trust again, to make him feel safe and loved. Sarah sits beside him, placing a hand gently on his back. He looks up at her, his eyes filled with gratitude. It's not just a transformation in Max, it's a transformation in her too. She's learned how to be patient, how to give without expecting anything in return. Max has shown her what it means to truly care, without limits, without hesitation. Later that day, Sarah takes Max for a walk outside the shelter. The air is fresh, the sun shining brightly. Max trots beside her, his steps confident and sure. It's a far cry from the broken dog she found weeks ago. As they walk, Max pauses for a moment, sniffing the air, his ears perked. Sarah stops too, watching him closely. He's becoming more like the dog he was before, curious, alert, and full of life. The bond they share is undeniable. Max looks up at Sarah, and she smiles at him, her heart full of pride. She knows that this is just the beginning for him. There are still hurdles to cross, but Sarah is determined to help Max find his place in the world. "We've made it this far, Max," she says softly. "And we'll keep going, one step at a time." Max responds by walking closer to her, his tail wagging slightly. It's a moment of true connection, one that shows how far they've come. That evening, as they return to the shelter, Sarah takes a moment to reflect on their journey. She stands outside, looking at the stars above. Max is sitting by her side, calm and content. The change in him has been remarkable. He's no longer the fearful abandoned dog he was when she first found him. He's strong, resilient, and ready for the next chapter of his life. Sarah sighs, her thoughts drifting to what the future holds. She's unsure where Max's journey will take him, but she's learned that, just like him, she has the strength to face the unknown. She turns to Max, who looks up at her with trust in his eyes. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" she whispers. Max gives a soft bark, as if in agreement. Sarah smiles, knowing that no matter what happens next, they have each other. The next morning, a family arrives at the shelter. They're looking for a dog to adopt, and Sarah feels a rush of excitement and anxiety. She's thought about this moment for a while. Max is ready for a new home, but part of her doesn't want to let go. She spent so much time with him, watching him grow and heal. The idea of him leaving brings a mix of emotions. The family meets Max, and Sarah watches as they interact with him. Max is calm, but there's a spark in his eyes as he connects with them. Sarah sees it, the same bond she felt, the same trust. The family smiles, clearly smitten with Max. Oh, she knows this is the right thing for him. It's time for him to move on to a new chapter. But as they prepare to leave, Max turns back to Sarah, his eyes meeting hers. For a moment, it feels like time slows. She gives him a gentle smile, a silent promise that he will always have a place in her heart. As the family leaves with Max, Sarah watches them walk away, her heart heavy but full of pride. She knows this is what's best for him. He's found his forever home. Sarah stays at the shelter for a while longer, reflecting on everything she's learned. Max's journey has taught her so much about love, patience, and the power of second chances. She takes a deep breath, feeling a sense of fulfillment. Her mission isn't over, not by a long shot. There are more animals to help, more lives to change. But for now, she smiles, knowing that Max is happy and that he's found the life he deserved all along. She watches the sunset, the colors of the sky reflecting the peace she feels inside. "Goodbye, Max," she whispers, knowing she's made a difference. It's been weeks since Max was adopted, and Sarah has heard nothing but good news. She checks her phone again, the screen showing a photo from the family who adopted him. He's running through a field, his tail wagging with joy. Sarah smiles softly, her heart warmed by the thought that Max is living the life he always deserved. But there's a part of her that still feels an emptiness. She misses him, the way he used to sit by her side, always looking at her with those big, trusting eyes. Yet, she knows that this was the right choice. Max needed more than she could provide. He needed a family. The feeling of loss lingers, but it's tempered by the knowledge that he is thriving. Sarah hopes that wherever Max is, he's happy, surrounded by love and care. Her job here at the shelter continues, and she feels more determined than ever to help the next animal that needs her. The door of the shelter opens, and a new dog is brought in, a small, nervous creature with bright, scared eyes. Sarah watches as the dog cowers in its cage, its body trembling with fear. It's a stark reminder of how far Max has come. She walks over, crouching beside the cage, offering soft words to the new dog, trying to calm it down. She knows it's going to take time, but just like with Max, she's willing to do whatever it takes. She gives the dog a gentle pat through the bars, feeling a connection. In this moment, Sarah realizes that healing isn't just about rescuing animals. It's about helping them heal in their own time. She feels a renewed sense of purpose. There are more animals that need her, and she's ready to take on the challenge. With a deep breath, she stands up and walks back to her desk, ready for whatever comes next. A few days later, Sarah receives a call from Max's new family. They're checking in, letting her know how well he's adjusting. Sarah listens intently, smiling as they tell her about his first trip to the park and how he's made fast friends with their other dog. They thank her for all the work she did, and Sarah feels her heart swell with pride. She knows that Max is no longer the broken dog he once was. He's found his place, his new family, and that's all she could have ever wanted for him. After hanging up, Sarah takes a moment to herself, closing her eyes and taking a deep breath. The feeling of joy mixed with bittersweet relief fills her chest. She's happy for Max, but the shelter continues to be her home. There's still so much to be done, and she's ready for whatever comes next. A few weeks pass, and the shelter is bustling with activity. Sarah walks through the aisles, checking on the animals, offering words of encouragement, and ensuring everything is running smoothly. She stops by each cage, spending a little time with every animal. As she approaches a young puppy, its eyes light up. Sarah smiles and gently pets the puppy, her mind thinking back to when she first started this journey with Max. The parallels are striking. This little puppy, just like Max, deserves a chance at a new life, at a family who will love it. Sarah knows that this cycle will continue, but she feels prepared. She's not just helping animals, she's giving them a chance at happiness. And in doing so, she's learning to heal too. As the day comes to a close, Sarah stands outside the shelter, looking up at the sky. The sun is setting, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange. She feels a sense of peace. Max's journey and her own have come full circle. The sky seems to mirror the calm she's finally found. Sarah thinks about how much she's learned from Max, about patience, trust, and love. She knows the shelter will continue to have its ups and downs, but as long as she's here, she'll keep fighting for these animals. A quiet smile spreads across her face as she takes a deep breath. "We're not done yet," she whispers to herself. "But we're getting there." The sun is setting, casting a golden hue over the landscape. Sarah stands at the edge of a hill, looking out at the peaceful world around her. It's been months since Max was adopted, and life has changed in ways she never imagined. The shelter still keeps her busy, but there's a new sense of peace in her heart. She can't help but think back to the first time she met Max, how broken and afraid he was. Now, she watches the sky, remembering how far he's come. It's bittersweet, knowing that Max is living his best life, but it's the reality she's learned to accept. She's proud of what they accomplished together, and as the sun sets, she knows that Max has finally found the love he was searching for. And for Sarah, helping him find that happiness has given her a purpose she never knew she needed. Her heart swells with pride, knowing she made a difference. Sarah walks back to the shelter, the evening air cool against her skin. As she approaches the building, she feels a sense of quiet satisfaction. The work is never done, but she's made an impact. Inside, the animals are still waiting for their second chance. And Sarah is determined to help them, just like she did with Max. There's always more work to be done, more animals to save, and more hearts to heal. She's learned that each animal, each moment of connection, is worth it. As she opens the door to the shelter, she's ready for whatever comes next. There's no going back. She's found her purpose, and this journey has only just begun. Inside the shelter, Sarah takes a moment to look at the animals. The dogs, cats, and other creatures are all waiting for their chance at a new life. Sarah stops in front of a kennel, gazing at a young dog with bright, hopeful eyes. She sees so much of Max in this one: fear, hope, and the desire for connection. She crouches down to the dog's level, offering a soft smile. "You'll find your way," she whispers. Sarah feels the weight of her words, knowing that every animal here has its own story. She's not just saving them, she's giving them a chance to live, to love, and to heal. As Sarah moves on, she feels a renewed sense of purpose. There's no greater gift than giving these animals a second chance. Later that evening, Sarah sits down in her office, reflecting on the progress the shelter has made. The work is hard, but the results speak for themselves. She thinks of all the animals who have come through the shelter, each one with a story, each one with potential. It's a humbling experience, knowing that her efforts have changed lives. She looks at a photo on her desk, a picture of Max with his new family, smiling and happy. Sarah smiles to herself, knowing that Max's journey was only the beginning. She's ready for whatever the future holds, knowing that each new challenge will only strengthen her resolve. With a deep breath, Sarah stands up, ready to face the next day, the next animal in need of her help. As Sarah locks up the shelter for the night, she feels a sense of peace. The building is quiet, the animals resting, and Sarah stands outside for a moment, looking up at the stars. She knows that every animal she helps is a victory, a life changed. And while her journey with Max has come to a close, the work she does will never be finished. She's ready to keep moving forward, to keep helping those in need. The stars above her feel like a symbol of all the possibilities ahead, and for the first time in a long while, Sarah feels truly at peace. She smiles to herself, closing her eyes for a moment before walking back inside, ready for the new day that awaits.